Hello, whiskey family. 안녕하십니까, whiskey 가족. This is WhiskyWhistle, and I'm your host, Mark, bringing you whiskey review number 64. Had to check that one. Today, we're going to be looking at a very special blended Scotch whiskey. This one is called Imperial, and it is made by Chivas Brothers, which is owned by Pernod Ricard, and it is available primarily in South Korea. So quite interesting, this one. This is the number 2 brand here in Korea. And this is where I live. In fact, I live here in Seoul. I'm Canadian, and I've been here for about 10 years, so I'm very familiar with the brand. And, well, let's have a look at that, shall we? So, Chivas Brothers is the maker. It's 40% ABV. What a bottle. They recently redesigned the packaging. So it almost looks like a gem, doesn't it? Now, probably they spent a fair bit in terms of the packaging. And if you're wondering if this is a small bottle, yes, in fact, it's a half bottle. They have a lot of different sizes here in Korea, and I've mentioned that before in other reviews. The reason for the small bottle, well, typically in Korea, when you open a bottle, you finish it. So you should buy the right size of bottle given the number of people that you're drinking with. Okay, so Imperial Blended Scotch Whisky. This one is the 12-year-old version. It also comes in, I think, 17, 19, and 21-year-old, as well as a couple of new non-age statement expressions, one called neon, in fact, or neon in Korean language. All right, so let's get that poured. This one has, well, a typical sort of a, what can I call that? It's a blended Scotch whiskey. So it's got a very unusual cap. This one is basically impossible to counterfeit. So there's no way you can get anything in there without really messing up the lid. So the consumer should know this is the real deal. All right, so let's get that poured. Imperial Blended Scotch Whisky 12-year-old. We'll pour a healthy sized dram. Yeah, that's probably about 40 milliliters. Classic Scotch color. That's pretty much bang on amber. Maybe just slightly not as colorful as some of the, let's say, the lower shelf blended Scotch whiskies. So just a slightly, it's not a pale gold, it's pretty much a straight yellow gold, isn't it? Okay, and we will let that sit just for a little bit to let a little bit of oxygen get throughout that, mix throughout that whiskey. Do a little bit of oxidization. Okay, there will be a short little advertisement right here. Welcome back. So Imperial 12-year-old blended Scotch whiskey. I mentioned it's number 2 here in Seoul, in South Korea, not just Seoul, all of South Korea, number 2. Owned by Chivas Brothers. This is created for the Korean market, and it came on the market in 1994. And interestingly, at that time here in Korea, most of the whiskey sold was a 6-year-old blend. And so this product came out 12-year-old with a 12-year-old product, 1994, and basically took over the market. So quite interesting. And it's inescapable. You can get this absolutely everywhere in Korea, be it the convenience store or the supermarket, they've got it. So, anything else? Well, so Chivas Brothers is the owner of this brand. There are some similarities with Chivas Regal. There are some differences as well. We'll talk about those. Chivas Regal is one of the first, I think that was the first blended Scotch whiskey review that I did quite a long time ago now. Well, roughly, how long? 6-7 months ago, thereabouts. So let's see how those compare. If you're in Korea and you're watching, I really appreciate that. Now, I am a Korean speaker, so I'm hoping, I don't know why I keep hesitating to do some whiskey reviews using Korean language, and I think I will very soon. There's always that little bit of hesitation, the first part, at the very beginning. Now, of course, there's a Korean saying which is 시작이 반이다. Starting is half the battle. So once I start, it'll probably be very easy. So you can look forward, keep watching. Hopefully there will be a Korean language review coming very soon. And I'll make sure to put appropriate English subtitles for that as well. Okay, so if you are in Korea and you do have a bottle of Imperial 12-year-old in your house, why not pour a glass? I'll give you a minute, and then we can share this moment together, shall we? Okay. Are you ready? And if you are Korean, you're wondering about this glass. This is called a Glen glass. And in Korean, that is Glen, I believe. So Glen whiskey 잔. Okay, so look for that on Naver, and you should be able to find some of these. You can probably buy one of them for about 15,000 won, or you can buy a package of 6, maybe for something around 50,000 or 60,000 won. Or better yet, pick some up when you're abroad because they're a lot cheaper in USA. Okay, on the nose, it's sweet, a little bit of a spirity, a little bit of a spirity alcohol nose coming through there. The grain whiskey is evident, as is the cinnamon and vanilla and some brown sugar, which are really helping to hold that together. I'm noticing a little bit more spirity sort of scent than I did before. Anything else? A little bit of orange. Maybe orange and grapefruit rinds. Candied. Okay, well, we'll taste that. Cheers, everyone. 건배. That means cheers in Korean. 건배. 건배. Okay, so 건배. Let's try that. Now, this one also, where this excels, is in the flavor, the palate, the taste of the whiskey. There's a bit of orange in there, vanilla, some brown sugar, some baking spices, touch of ginger. Now, comparing this to Chivas, when I think back to the flavor, it's missing. I shouldn't say it's missing, but there is no chocolate flavor, which I did notice in Chivas. And there is also no kind of a leathery, oiled leather sort of a scent also, or flavor. There's nothing like that as well. Now, this is what I wrote here for the nose. I mentioned the spices, The corn whiskey. Oh, I didn't, but anyway. Excuse me, pardon me, my goodness. I wrote here sawdust in the nose. And also some oak tannins. Okay, so I forgot to mention that. But I didn't really get any this particular moment. You see, every time you smell whiskey, whether it be daytime or nighttime, you may notice different qualities each time you smell and taste something. So, excuse me, in the morning when I was trying this one, late morning, I noticed oak tannins on the nose. That was the very first thing I smelled. And this time around, the first thing I'm smelling is something a little bit spirity. We'll call that column still corn whiskey smell. I also wrote that it's mild at first, but now I would say the overall scent is medium. There's a bit of that spirit sort of driving the smell as well. And the taste, what I wrote here is big sweetness with slight bitter dryness. And let's see if I still find the same sort of progression of flavor. Yes, very big sweetness. And the longer you keep it in your mouth, you get a bit of that bitter dryness going on. The spice really builds, cinnamon and ginger. There's vanilla caramels, still some orange in there. I wrote here dried apricots. I also put here a bit of heat, and the longer you spend, the more time you spend with this one, you'll get maybe a bit of almondine flavor going on. The finish is actually pretty nice. I'm getting vanilla custard, a bit of oak, and still a little bit of the dried apricot flavor happening here. And lengthwise, somewhere between short and medium. Anything else? Slightly lemony now. Interesting. Now, if you like Chivas, if you're a Chivas Regal fan, and you're in Korea on business, definitely pick yourself up perhaps one of each, the 12, 17, 19, and 21-year-old. Maybe even the Neon if you can find that. And there's another one called Quantum. That might be the 19-year-old. But anyway, get them all. Stick them in your luggage. Don't forget to tell the customs officer. He may just choose to wave you through. They do that a lot to me, in fact. I'm ready to pay the charge for taking more than my allowance, but quite often I'm just waved through. Anyway, that could be really interesting if you've got a whiskey club or some friends you like to drink your whiskey with. Bring some Chivas, maybe the 12 and the 18, and also the Imperial. Line them up, try them all, see how they compare. I think you'll find this very comparable in quality to the Chivas 12-year-old. I added water already, right? I kind of forget. Yes, I think I did. Oh goodness, did I? Oh dear. It's late. I meant to do this in the afternoon today, but time got away on me. I'm pretty sure I added water to that. Goodness, did I? Well, we'll add just a touch more. Just a little bit. Because I'm not sure whether I did or not. Oh, goodness. I'm not usually so airbrained. Okay, with water. Still quite spirity, but there's a bit more spice going on. Some kind of an apple note, like a red candy apple. And oddly enough, cola. Which is nice. Okay, everyone, cheers once again. Viaya, which means for everyone. It's kind of the meaning of that, I would say. To all. Let us drink to everybody. So viaya. That's how we say that one. Cheers, everyone. Well, this one should not have that much water added, so don't put too much, just a little bit. If you're going to put an ice cube in there, just try just one ice cube. Maybe don't let the ice cube melt completely. Okay, so I wrote here, it's sweeter. There's a bit more vanilla going on. Apricot, still there. Orange is still there. I think I didn't add water the first time. Could be wrong. I'll have to look at the video to see. But earlier today, when I added a good spoonful, which I've determined is about 2.5 milliliters, it really broke down, although there was less than that. So let's say in 30 to 40 milliliters, adding about 2 milliliters of water will be good. More than that will not be very good. So it really did break down, which is fine. You know, you have to sort of test to see how much water you want to add or how much is good for you, okay? And a little bit more, a little bit more spice going on in the finish now than before. So I wrote here, touch spicier, but still very vanilla custardy kind of flavor going on. And I also wrote here almond, although I'm not getting that now. But again, that's just how your palate works. It's never the same, and that's what keeps things interesting. So, what score will I give this? I do like it. The nose is a slightly off-putting in the beginning. Improves with a bit of water. The finish is nice, slightly short. So we'll go with, let's say 77 out of 100, okay? So 77 out of 100, that is the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Imperial blended Scotch whiskey, the 12-year-old version, okay? Well, if you've watched till now, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. You can do so by clicking right down in the corner there. Also, you can share that with people that you know that may be interested in this sort of a video. Hopefully there are some. And if you're on Twitter, I would love it if you would follow me, and I'll likely follow you back if you're an individual. I may or may not follow you if you are a corporate entity. Okay, so that is WhiskyWhistle on Twitter and Instagram. Also, I put a little bit of related content to the YouTube videos. Sometimes some other things. Sometimes some funny things. So that's also WhiskyWhistle. Okay, so hopefully I'll see you here or there. Thank you for watching and take care. 안녕히 계십시오. Take care of yourselves.